can teach.
Okay, Jeff, congratulations on the victory. Firstly, it's not any everyday thing for Zimbabwe winning 2 consecutive series. Last time it was Bangladesh, then this is Ireland. How happy do you feel with the progress that the team is making?
Look, in answer to your question, very happy that we've won a second series here. Part of our growth obviously has been able to be strong at home. And that's one of the things I've tried to talk to the players about, that we have to have a situation where we're at home, people don't want to come and play us. And that's a combination of the cricket we play on our own surfaces, the fantastic crowd we get, and the aura that is created here. I want to make us a difficult team to beat in our own place. So that's a good start to win a second home series.
Craig, obviously top scorer today, leading from the front. How important has been his leadership on this team, especially with all the changes that you've been trying to make with the batting lineup, and also Ryan Bell with that stint towards the end as well?
Yeah, so I think we obviously want to grow with the young team, but in order to have that growth, you need some senior players to play around and to learn from. And we've sadly lost a couple of senior players in the last few days, so it was very important that somebody like Craig stood up and played a role and made sure it was a role that others could follow. And I think he's had a fantastic 3-game series. The youngsters coming through at the end, and someone like Ryan Bell as well. I've mentioned to Ryan a couple of times, he's a batsman who bowls leg spin, and yet he wins more games with us bowling leg spin than he does with his bat. So I had that conversation with him this morning, so it's interesting he came out this afternoon. But that's the sort of finish we want from Ryan, but we want it more often.
All right, Dave, I think coming away from all of the success that we've been able to score this series, I think at the top of the order still there is a little bit of concern in that particular regard. I know Marmani has been brought in. He had a fantastic domestic season, but it isn't quite clicking on the international stage. Any plans that you currently have in place?
Yeah, look, I think firstly we need to give them more time. So I'm not really in the habit of giving a guy 2 games and then leaving him out again. So, Maru, I would hope, would continue with us through the one-day stuff as well. You get luckier. When I was a kid coming into the team, I was a wicket-keeper batsman, and I was lucky that I was a wicket-keeper because my batting was rubbish. But I was able to keep my place in the team with second string to my bow as a keeper, and then I learned how to bat. So someone like Maru is a very accomplished young batsman. He just needs to find his ground in the main side. And I think the more we can play him, the more chance he'll actually cross that bridge and be fine. I thought Innocent was really good in the 2 games we played him, and I'm sure he'll be up there starting when we play the one-day series as well.
You were targeting a 6-0 series win across...
That went out the window.
Yes, across both formats. Not quite in the moment. How are you looking forward to making amends?
Sorry, I got most of that.
Yes, okay. So how are you looking forward to make amends in the 5th over?
I think when I was quoted as saying I wanted to win 6-0, I was actually wasn't thinking right, because all I wanted to do is win 2 series. I'd like to win them 3-0, but at the bottom line is I'll take 2-1 every time. It's important to win the series. But we're going to the one-day series now, and our target will be the same: try and win every game we play. Try and win the series. Hopefully it's 3-0. If it's 2-1, I'll take it again.
And then you mentioned how you got into the side, especially as wicket keeper. You've got a player like young Clive Madande, who's got in there. He was pretty empty in the last match, in the first match actually. And how do you hope to transform him into more of a wicket-keeper batsman going forward, with Regis cover every almost level side? Probably not coming back.
Everything we do in the coaching side takes players to the edge of the field. The only place they really learn is when they cross that line and go out there and play. Clivey's had to wait a long time behind Regis for an opportunity, and I think he's had a pretty good 3-game start for us. His keeping in particular was electric. He took a great catch in the first game we won, standing up to the wicket off Wellington. He was fantastic pace and speed around the stumps, stopping singles and things. I don't think I can actually remember him making a mistake behind the stumps. The batting will come the more he plays. Hit a nice 4 today, but he missed 3 balls. At that time of the game, he needs to learn that you need to get bat on ball. That'll come the more times he plays.
Okay, Brian, Larry, then
Coach, important was winning this series, taking into account that after the World Cup, sort of those games that everybody thought we were supposed to win, we were playing semi-final, but now again at home we are proving that once again that Harare, Lawa, and
I think I was a little concerned when we had the break after the World Cup. We sort of came back, and even though when you look at it in the cold light of day, we should have beaten Bangladesh and we should have beaten Holland. So even though we did well and the people were pleased with us and we were quite pleased with ourselves, we all sit back and we realised we missed a good opportunity. But anyway, then you have a break for 2 months. When you come back together, it's important that you get straight back onto that winning run. Because, we could easily have lost this series and suddenly our turn in fortune goes backwards as quick as it went forwards. So it's good for me that we've got off to a winning start. We've got to maintain it. We've got a tough 2.5 months with, one-day series now, then 2 test matches. And, we're the kind of side with the establishment that we don't have 2 different squads. We haven't got enough players for that. Our players are playing in both places. So if you go into a test series, for example, and lose the test series, it can knock your one-day form back as well. So we've got to make sure we maintain a standard at home that keeps us going in that direction.
So we're looking at the inclusion of Luke Jongwe today.
Yeah.
What is the thinking behind that, and also the inclusion of Kuzai Maonzi suddenly in the squad?
Well, obviously we lost a couple of senior batsmen. Maonzi today was pretty much here on standby just in case. In case we had another concussion and we could make a change in the game. In the case of Luke, I just felt in the first 2 games that we were quite predictable in the way we were setting out to bowl. It was always going to be Chats 1, Richie the second one, then Brad the third one, then Chats the fourth one, and it was actually quite predictable. And if in T20 you become too predictable, the other side gets the measure of you quite quickly. So today we talked about changing Luke in for Brad just to give us a change up, the different bowlers, and then also opening the bowling with Wes, which I think was really good, and even the introduction of Enna. We just try to give them something that they hadn't prepared for, and I think we actually came out on the right side of all those decisions today.
Okay, so you earlier mentioned about not having quite like 2 squads separate for T20 and ODI, but what have you done, or what are the preparations like for the ODIs? Because we understand some batsmen are stronger on T20 and not necessarily on the ODI side. Do you have like a prepared plan for ODI?
It's still the same plan that we used last year when we played against India here in Bangladesh and Australia away. So the ODI plan itself works pretty well. It's just sometimes there will be a few changes within the squad. And we haven't actually announced the one-day squad as yet, so David Mutindira and I will probably speak later this evening and try and announce something tomorrow. I just don't foresee there will be a lot of changes because I don't think we have a lot of people to choose from at the moment. As we grow as a country's cricket and our franchise cricket gets stronger and stronger, hopefully we will develop a bigger and wider talent group that we can choose from.
Coach, you spoke about the matches at the World Cup that we should have won. So there's a concern that sometimes the team doesn't perform well under pressure, and with missing players now, it was next man up, series level at 1-0. What has been your message to the team in terms of playing under pressure and handling pressure?
Again, it's just the same about developing players. The only place you can actually get experience of playing under pressure, winning under pressure, is being under pressure. The only thing I've said to our guys about pressure is that you earn the right to be under pressure. If we were playing rubbish and getting smacked every day, we were never under pressure, because losing's easy. But by winning and keeping ourselves in the contests all the time and getting into pressure situations, we've earned that right, so enjoy it. And we're starting to win more of those pressure situations than we lose.
Okay, I'll take the last 3. Larry, Brian, teach the last one.
My 2 questions. How proud are you of the way these boys have developed in the last couple of months since you came in? And secondly, the crowd today, it was an atmosphere.
Yeah, sure. In terms of the pride that I have with our guys, I'm very proud of them. You know, right from the first time we got together and met, even though I'd met them before when I was Mountaineers coach, they're a fantastic bunch of guys. They don't shirk from hard work, and they know how much it means to go out and win. And I know how much pressure they're under. You know, the pressure we just talked about. But they go out and they win it, and they win it well, and they win it as a team. Our change in atmosphere is absolutely brilliant. Everyone gets on fantastically. We don't have any shirkers. So I'm very proud of them, and I think they'll do us well for a long time. In terms of the crowd, I was chatting with Steve Kirby today, and both of us have been to quite a few big stadiums in our life, and stadiums with more people that are maybe a bit noisier. But I don't think you can recreate the atmosphere that we create here, that goes on ball after ball, unless you go to a football stadium. It's absolutely fantastic, and our guys love playing in front of it, and I think it's quite daunting for the opposition. So, more songs and louder, please.
Yes, right.
Coach, you generally don't want to sing out players, but looking at someone like Wes, who's talented, you have been in dressing rooms and managed players who are talented, some of them fulfill their potential. How do you manage somebody like Wes in terms of batting? Because we've seen what he can do with the ball in the field, but so looks like he's the future of his generation. But things haven't been clicking. But we know what he can do on his day.
Yeah, everybody goes through bad patches, and I've been through a couple of them myself. And when you're in them, you almost don't know which side of the bat to hold, because you find ways to get out that you just can't imagine. And today's a good example. I think I played one series against Leicester where we played three-day games, so I batted 5 times, and I got 3 noughts and 2 1s. So I averaged 0.2 for the series, or 0.4, I think. But you find ways to get out. I was run out at the bowler's end. I chipped one, and some guy dived and took a blinder one-handed, and I got a bad decision. It all goes into it. Wes is going through that at the moment. The great thing about Wes is that he offers you so much else. So like the bowling today was a complete surprise to the opposition. It wasn't to us. He goes and takes 2 vital wickets for us. On top of that, as you all know, he's one of the best fielders around. So, you know, we'll just have to persevere with him. He will have to persevere. I don't have an answer how you get out of that. You get out of it the same way you got into it. It just happens. He will keep working as hard as he does. He was here at 10 o'clock this morning batting in the nets, and he gets out to reverse free catch. That's the part of the luck that didn't go his way.
Right, Dave, a lot of the focus has been on the batting.
Yeah.
But if you look at the series, it looks like there's been almost all the bowlers, almost an equal amount of wickets. How impressed are you that we're getting contributions from across the park, especially with our bowlers?
Our bowling side, our bowling and fielding unit, because the two work hand in hand. I think if you'll see the statistic they put on the TV, in the last year in T20 cricket, we are the leading side in the world in runs per over as a bowling and fielding unit. We are number 1. That's above England, Pakistan and all these sides. We have quite a simple strategy when we bowl, and we back it up with some electric fielding. So that's what keeps us in so many games. It's not hard to see, and you guys can see the statistics as much as you want. Our batting is our weakness. That's going to get better, we hope. The more we play, the more the guys grow in their maturity as batsmen, it'll get better. Our bowling and our fielding has been outstanding. I can't praise them high enough.
Okay, thank you very much, colleagues.